Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes is a spin-off game for the Nintendo Switch using the characters and world of Fire Emblem 3 Houses and combining it with the action hack and slash genre of the Warriors franchise. The first Fire Emblem Warriors game is a separate entity, pulling characters from games like Awakening and Fates, while 3 Hopes rides off the massive success of 3 Houses. The game launches on June 24th, but a playable free demo is available in the Nintendo eShop, and that's what I'll be talking about today. This is a sizable amount of gameplay, giving you access to 4 chapters for 3 different routes. Mainly, this amounts to 3 prologue chapters, with chapter 4 opening up the backbone of the gameplay loop. If you don't like what you see by the end of the demo for one route, I would be hard pressed to convince you to buy the game. However, I want to share my experience with the demo so far, and I'm coming away from this showcase much more positive and hyped for the full release. First up, let's clear up the biggest switch from 3 Houses, and yes, you probably should have played 3 Houses before 3 Hopes, but it's not necessarily required. 3 Hopes is not a standard Fire Emblem strategy game with turn-based combat on a grid. It is an action game with lots of dumb and flashy moves, big hordes of enemies to send flying, and includes some Fire Emblem tactical aspects. The main draw for 3 Hopes is that it uses the cast of 3 Houses and the world building in Fodlan. 3 Houses already does not have one canon route, and 3 Hopes takes this in stride by massively deviating from the relative plot in 3 Houses. I will be talking about some early spoilers from the prologue. From the get-go, the situation changes because we have a new protagonist in Shez, and Byleth takes a somewhat antagonistic role. Instead of Byleth becoming a professor at the Officers Academy, Shez is the one who saves the 3 house leaders from the bandits, and they become a student with them, with Professor Yuritsa commandeering your house. The 3 prologue chapters move things along insanely fast and essentially wrap up plot points from the Academy phase in 3 Houses. For example, Kronya and Solon are introduced, and we actually find the real Monica, who was dead in 3 Houses. She's a playable character here. That is how different things are. By chapter 4, you are thrust into a 2-year time skip, and this is where the real game begins. You get to experience one chapter of this, but you don't really actually get to finish the entire thing, sadly. We need to play the full game to find out more, but it does seem like 3 Hopes will focus more on the Agarthians, aka those who slither in the dark. It is incredibly obvious that Arvel, the godly being who resides in Shez, probably has a major part to play in this aspect. They seem to be a counterpart to Sothis, and I look forward to seeing what conflict arises between Sothis and Arvel, and thus Shez and Byleth. Speaking of our protagonists, you can choose male or female Shez. You also can choose male or female Byleth. While Shez has dialogue choices similar to Byleth in 3 Houses, the biggest change for the better is that Shez has actual lines to say. This gives you a sense of their character immediately more than Byleth, and this is exemplified when Byleth actually talks to Shez in the story. It is very brief, but I really hope Byleth gets more speaking lines in the game. Will Byleth be playable? I would guess probably yes, unless they're gonna go full God mode villain, which might be fun to see as well. Let's continue talking about characters, because again, that is gonna be the biggest reason for many even wanting to try this game. As shown from the trailers and the demo, basically all the students are back. Even the Ashen Wolves, no DLC needed this time. Like in 3 Houses, you will pick Black Eagles for the Scarlet Blaze route, Blue Lanterns for the Azure Gleam route, or Golden Deer for the Golden Wildfire route. You get the house leaders and their corresponding students for each route, but I'm not sure if recruitment from other houses is possible. You might not be able to, because from the demo you also get specific non-students for each route. For example, Scarlet Blaze, you get Manuela and Yuritsa in chapter 4. Azure Gleam gets Rodrigue, and I heard but haven't played yet that Golden Wildfire gets Shamir. No clue if characters like Sedith or Flane are playable, but it could be like a Smash Ultimate type deal where literally everyone is here. It is looking like a lot of characters from 3 Houses will be playable, because the movesets for characters in 3 Hopes are tied to classes. For example, Myrmidon's got one moveset, Thieves have another moveset, and Archers have a moveset, etc. Characters get said moveset when you use said class. Combat in 3 Hopes is relatively simple. You got a regular attack, you got a strong attack, and you chain regular attacks into different strong attack finishers. Each attack also has their own class action. For example, the Myrmidon and Mercenaries have a wide circular sweep you can charge up, the Cavaliers have a charge move that carries enemies with them, and mages fire multiple balls of magic. There is also a big special AoE move that you can get over time. At first, the basic classes felt really bland, but intermediate did start to pick up the flair, style, and uniqueness, and then there are advanced classes and master classes, just like in 3 Houses. Tying movesets to class type is the cost of getting more playable characters, but to differentiate each student, you have unique abilities. These can be passives or actives. For example, passively, the 3 house leaders deal elemental damage. Another passive that is fun to play with is those of Felix and Ferdinand. These two can increase their speed via dodges or total hit combos, and that can increase after images while fighting, and of course they attack and move much faster. For an active ability, Bernadetta can lay down a circular field that freezes enemies and increases her crit rate. Certain units like Dedu can charge up their strong attacks for more damage, and Yuritsa has a big AoE move that just charges up over time. I noticed these abilities have levels, so it's possible they might get more complex later on. That would be interesting. Now, while the Warriors series combat is hack and slash heavy, 3 Hopes does tie in a lot of Fire Emblem features, especially from 3 houses. You got your basics like flying units take heavy damage from archers, and weapon triangle is back based on your class. Armored units typically have lower defense, so mages do more damage to them, etc, etc. From 3 houses, combat arts can offer different moves, which use weapon durability that can be replenished. The more you use a combat art, the less durability it takes up, and the stronger it becomes. Battalions are also back, but we did not get access in the demo. There was also something called strategies, which I think might be a repurpose of gambits, although that also wasn't available just yet. Again, if you played 3 houses, a lot of things transfer over generally. Now on the battlefield, you get 4 playable characters who you can swap to on the fly. You can also bring more students controlled with the AI in some missions. Whether they are playable or not, you can issue orders to the students you aren't controlling. In 3 Hopes, you need to traverse this big map to defeat enemy commanders and take positions on the map. Issuing orders is important so you aren't just standing there all day. The AI can attack certain positions or guard NPCs. For those playing the demo, I highly suggest when splitting up, you order a unit to guard another ally, then you send that ally to attack. That way you don't have to issue multiple attack orders, because that was a pain when I had 7 units on the field. Another feature is adjutants, aka pair up. Like the name states, you can take another ally unit with you, and passively they're going to do follow-up attacks and guard for you. These are improved with higher support levels between characters. Another benefit to pairing up is that when you use your special, both units use their specials back to back. Very fun. Last bit of combat I want to gloss over. This is a very dodge heavy game with perfect dodges giving you crit hits for a little bit. Guarding is also an option, but it felt kind of janky. In terms of my favorite classes to play, Shez has their own class that is currently head and shoulders above anything else in terms of flashiness. Dual wielding is a lot of fun. I found a surprise joy in Cavaliers, but it was the Pegasus Knight that was pretty cool. For one, they have aerial gameplay by hitting enemies into the air with their combos, and you can juggle them afterwards. Their moveset had the most options by far. I enjoyed Dimitri and Edelgard's gameplay, and I still need to try out Claude. Hopefully it's fun, because so far I've kind of been unimpressed by archers. Their class action locks into a charge shot barrage that takes forever, and I just wasn't feeling it. I hope Claude's aerial archery is different. Next, I want to talk about the monastery replacement, the base camp. Like 3 houses, this is the call-off area where you can talk with students between battles, but there are some similar aspects to the monastery. You can wine and dine or do chores with characters to raise support levels and morale. I heard not all support levels have conversations, but so far the ones I've gotten are pretty good. Another example where talkative Shez shines over silent Byleth. As for morale, instead of using it to study, morale just increases your damage in battle, nice and simple. The study portion now takes the form of training. Training increases class mastery, higher class mastery nets you better weapon mastery, and you need to master classes to change into the next tier. New to 3 Hopes is that since we only have 4 playable characters at a time, if you want to level up other students, you can flat out buy levels for them. This is great because doing chapter 4 with your level 1 character is not fun. I don't know how growths work in this game, but you can reset your level interestingly. Very nice feature in the base camp is also that you can freely mock battle to try out new classes to practice your moves and combos. Throughout the game, you can upgrade your facilities. For example, you can get an extra training slot or learn more recipes. You can also go from the war map back to camp whenever it seems. Speaking of which, similar to 3 houses, each chapter has one big mission at the end. There are side quests you need to do first, but doing that big mission will progress the story. Chapter 4 gives you a taste of the gameplay loop, but you're not going to be able to complete the big mission in the demo. For some closing notes, graphics looked fine to me. Certainly improving on 3 houses because I assume this is the same engine. Load times were surprisingly fast, which is great, and the game didn't seem to stutter terribly when playing docked. Obviously, we aren't expecting 100 FPS on the Switch with all these moving 3D objects, but I felt the game was totally playable. Handheld, it was also acceptable, at least to me. While editing this video, I realized I forgot to mention a really important aspect I love about this game, the music. If you love rock and you love Fire Emblem music, specifically Three Houses, you're gonna have a good time. In terms of story, I really enjoyed the new take on the Three Houses universe. If you want more of the characters and lore of Three Houses, Three Hopes really looks to deliver on that front. We are in a completely different alternate universe, but you can appreciate all the details learned from playing the main game. One thing that is cool so far are the new characters are more like actual in-game representations of ones we've heard about. In the Black Eagle route, we get to meet Caspar, Linhardt, and Bernie's fathers. A lot of people on a mission with Count Varley. I haven't played Golden Wildfire, but I'm really excited to meet Host. He is mentioned up and down in the main game, and he actually exists now. The story is so vastly different that I do think even if you don't like the beat 'em up gameplay, it's worth a watch to see what happens. I assume the routes will not converge, but who knows currently. Overall, this demo has sold me on Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. I don't mind a bit of button mashing myself, and there are enough Fire Emblem tactical features to make things feel familiar, but also pretty fresh. The new story and characters are fun additions to what we've played in Three Houses, and the pacing is very fast, at least for the prologue. So far, Shez is very likable, and Arvel serves the Soltis role nicely. Hopefully they don't disappear midway through. Looking forward to 3 Hopes full release now, and it's very soon. I may make some more videos for the game. Give the demo a try since it's free, and have fun beating up tons of enemies. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.